car? I support my coach, Nick Sirianni. Would you put that bumper sticker on your car? Come on, Tone. I got a new, come on here, man. I got a bumper sticker for you. So you can put on your wife's car and your car, your dad's car. Okay, because I know your dad loves Eagles too. So you got a brand new bumper sticker. I support Nick Sirianni for 2024. Are you putting that on your car?
Hell no. I don't. The funny thing is, I don't even believe in bumper stickers. You know, that's not even like, whenever I see people with bumper stickers, you know, I'll put it this way. I'm not a fan of people showcasing their beliefs.
Okay, good.
You know, to the world. I don't believe in that. I believe my beliefs are my beliefs for a reason. And do I have to put a bumper sticker, you know, to tell the world, hey, this is how I feel about this issue? I don't believe in that.
So you hate a MAGA hat?
I hate MAGA hats. I hate bumper stickers. I hate any kind of like flag.
Political flags, bumper stickers.
I hate Trump hats. I hate Biden bumper stickers.
I get it.
I hate all that stuff. You know, it's weird. Personally, to me, it's just weird.
Like religion, even stuff. That's your own personal stuff.
Yeah. I just don't believe in bumper stickers. You know what I mean? The furthest I'll let somebody go really is if like they have a team, like a football team, and they got a little sticker in their car. Okay, all right.
How about if they have an eagle flag on their antenna? Do they have antennas on cars anymore? I don't even know.
That's hilarious. But I mean, look, I'm cool with, I'm cool with that. The furthest thing I'm willing to go was with sports, because sports mean nothing at the end of the day. Yep. They're meaningless. Right. But when you start getting into your religion and your politics and it's like, okay, all right, whatever. I don't really care about that.
So what do you make of the whole Vic Fangio and some of the guys with the Dolphins crying and bitching about
it? Kind of makes me,
and how he was down there with them.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Eric Bieniemy thing. And remember how when he first got to Washington, you had guys crying and moaning. Yeah, he's hard on us, man. What is wrong? He wants us to play hard. He wants us to show up. He wants us to give a damn about our jobs. Yeah, no shit. So a guy like Vic Fangio, and look, let's be honest. What was the one crime held against the Miami Dolphins all year? People called them soft.
Yeah.
All year. They called them soft. And when they ever came across a real opponent, they got soft and they couldn't hang. That was the one knock on Miami all year.
Right.
Not their talent, not their defense or not their coaching, that they were soft. And lo and behold, in the headlines, you hear rumors about guys not really warming up to Vic Fangio. He was hard on them. You know, he would randomly quiz them about certain things that that he's installing. Oh, I'm sorry. I want you to be competent at your job. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I'm holding you accountable. I'm sorry that I'm not holding your hand. So I'm not buying any of that. I don't really care. In my mind, if I want that to be true, actually. I want it to be true that he was digging in y'all ass. I want that to be a fact.
Me too, man. I mean, like you said,
needs that. Philadelphia needs that right now, especially on the defensive side.
Absolutely. By the way, Slagger, I like your mentality about having a flag on your car because you had New York plates and you were at Philly games. That completely is a pass, and you get a library hall pass for that one, because if you have New York plates at Lincoln Financial in the parking lot, you might get your ass kicked, or there could be a couple flat tires. So I am giving you kudos and a pass on that. Now, I want to go around the league a little bit here. Oh, wait, first and foremost.
Yes.
The offensive coordinator, would you have a problem with Kliff Kingsbury?
I think you asked me this before, and
yeah, but you don't like him because he lives in the mountains of Arizona.
No,
this guy's got a palatial house out there.
He just seems like, look, all right. I'll say what I said to Rob earlier, right? Because he brought it up again. I'll say this.
I think he's going to get that job.
I'll say this. If they hire, I'm all about bringing in the best possible people to get the best out of these players. Now, do I got to like you? No. Do I gotta agree with you? No. Do I gotta like your face? No, all that kind of stuff. But do you get the most out of this player? Can you maximize Jalen Hurts' skill set? If that's the case, then look, I'll roll with it. I don't have to like Kliff Kingsbury, but if he can do the job at a high level, I'll roll with it. That's where I'm at with it. But I don't trust something about Kliff Kingsbury. I do not trust.
It's slick.
It's something up. He just looks slick.
Slick.
It's his eyes. I don't know. It's something about him. You ever just look at somebody and say,
no.
I don't know about him.
He personifies that, but I was kind of shocked that Lincoln Riley hired him in Los Angeles because he's on the hot seat there, man.
He's been getting jobs left and right, Kliff Kingsbury. So clearly he knows the game on some level.
Chicago interviewed him. Atlanta interviewed him. There's a bunch of people that have interviewed him for the offensive coordinating job and being an OC. And I'm thinking,
so what is it I'm not seeing then, Dan? Like Sills, let's be honest. Okay, what am I not seeing about Kliff Kingsbury? Can somebody in the chat help me out?
Tying in is winning.
That could be it. That could be it.
You're tying winning. He didn't win at Texas Tech. He won marginally at Arizona. But one thing that he did do, hey, Kyler Murray got $40 million somehow.
Yeah.
He got $40 million somehow, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. That's true. Patrick Mahomes was drafted in the first round somehow. Patrick Mahomes is the face of the league now. And that guy developed him. So, I mean, we're just looking at winning here. And if we're talking about a head coach tone, see, doesn't that cloud the judgment on when you're talking about certain coordinators? When you go like this, that guy's not a good coach. And you're like, no. Just like when you're looking at this guy, Joe Barry, as a linebacker coach. I happen to know Joe very well. As a coordinator, I don't know there. But I'll tell you what. He coached Derek Brooks in Tampa. And he worked with Monty Kiffin. And you know who else he worked with? Raheem Morris. I mean, those guys were all on that coaching staff in Tampa that, get this, you know that Monty Kiffin coaching staff? You know who it produced? Herm Edwards, Mike Tomlin, Raheem Morris, Lovie Smith. It produced all those guys off that coaching staff. That couldn't have been that bad a staff, dude. Won a Super Bowl too. Yeah. I mean, Mike Tomlin came off that Bucs staff.
That's true. That's true. Look, I'll put it to you this way. If Kliff Kingsbury does get the job, I'm willing to see it play out. I'm willing to see it.
I think he's talented.
On some level, he has to be. He keeps getting jobs. He keeps getting massive interviews. He must be good at something. Here's
the deal. Remember, he's got a lot of money coming to him.
That's true. And also, I mean, the Arizona Cardinals organization. How can it's kind of hard.
Beautiful way to look at. That's why when you look at Frank, okay, Ursay and Tepper. I mean, come on, guys. You're not working for the best bosses on the planet. You know what I'm saying? You're not working for the best people.
That's true. That's true. And if I look at his coaching resume right now, here it is. So his record, Kliff Kingsbury.
It was 13-16 supposedly with Mahomes at Tech.
So with Arizona, he has a 28-37 record, 28-37-1. His best season was when he went 11-6 in 2021.
Didn't they start out like 11-0 that year?
Yeah, actually, that was that year. They started off like it's kind of similar to what happened to the Eagles. They started off like
exactly right.
10-1, 11-0, and then they just fell off a cliff. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So,
see Brian Johnson's getting interviewed for the Bucs OC job.
He's getting he's getting a lot. Also, here's some interesting numbers for Kliff Kingsbury's Arizona team, especially on the offensive side. So, in his best year there, which was 2021, they were ranked top 10. They were ranked top 10 in yards. They were ranked 11th in points. They were ranked 4th in giveaways, which is good. They had a top 10 rushing offense.
With who?
I think that was Connor there in 2021.
I think so.
I can't remember.
And maybe so was DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. They had a top 10 passing offense, top 10 in yards, top 12 in passing touchdowns.
Yeah, but their personnel wasn't that hot, man.
They weren't. And I think that was when they tried to. Didn't AJ Green play there for like a year or two to try to?
Yeah, he did.
So they really didn't. They really didn't have.
No.
And he still managed to have that team top 10 in most categories on offense. So
imagine if he had 5 or 6, or like you said, potentially 9 Pro Bowlers. What do you think that he would do on moving the sticks with? And by the way, he's an RPO guy.
I'm slowly talking myself into it. So I'm willing to see it happen. Like,
so you hate his hair slicked back. You think this guy's all like
he just has a face that I don't trust. I don't know, man. Listen, it's not something that I should even.
This guy
build
looks
a house
like George
on.
Clooney to you, and you don't like George. You must not like George Clooney. This guy looks like George Clooney, Sills. I don't want my coordinators looking like George Clooney. I want him looking like Popeye, Vic Fangio. I want to be a little rougher.
He just looks like he walks around with a pair of dice in his pocket. Like he just
dice in his pocket. Okay, here. Let me ask you another one here. So I hear this comment, and I heard it on radio, our network, everywhere actually. 667, 34-17. This guy, man, 3 straight years of playoffs. And Doug Peterson's win percentage in Philly was .531. Do you know Chip Kelly had a better win percentage than Doug did?
Win percentages.
He had a higher 553 to 531. Chip won more outside of the Super Bowl than what Doug did.
Listen.
Hey, wait. I'm
with you. I can have a coach that has a 400 win percentage. And guess what? If he has 3 Super Bowls on his resume, you think I give a damn?
No.
Hell
Some
no.
people do, though, because 667.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, wait. I got one better for you. Rich Kotite, 563, had a higher win percentage than Vermeil, Doug Peterson, and almost comparable with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not.
Wait, 667.
Did you notice in that press conference, that was the one thing that was the only reason he felt like he should bring back Nick Sirianni. He kept saying, well, when the coach does this, that, and the third, it's not easy to find. So you gotta double down on that. He didn't talk anything else about Nick. It was just the win percentage.
How could a coach who won 11 games and been to 3 playoffs be fighting for his job if he's so good a coach? It's so simple to, when you watch the Liars Club there on Wednesday morning, and you're watching that and you're going like this, well, why are we talking about him then? If he's so gifted.
I agree.
We're not talking about a 4-win guy.
I get it. I totally get it. It's like, when he said he had to reprove himself, I was like, word.
No, you reprove yourself when you win 4 games.
Look, I would have felt okay if he even would have said, look, this is the NFL. You got to prove it every single year. And this year we didn't prove anything. So we got to come back to the drawing board and prove that we're still one of the best teams in the league. Boom. If he would have said that, I'd be like, okay, all right, I can get behind that. But
one more for you.
Yeah, talking about
Chip Kelly's got a better win percentage than Buddy Ryan. Oh, wait, I'm told 667 matters.
I mean, it matters. It matters maybe in those contract negotiations, but it don't matter to me when you get bumped in the first round by the Buccaneers, who don't even belong in the playoffs, really.
Give me 1-7.
Come on, man. Come on.
Hey,
what's okay? What's more real, that 10-1 record or the 1-7 record?
The 1-7.
All right,
that's who you are.
That's who they really were.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. I'm a fan.
Overrated.
Let's call it what it is.
So that 667 is overrated.
Yes, it has to be. Yes.
You know what? How about this? That 67 is more of a reflection on Jalen Hurts than it is on Nick Sirianni.
It's more of a reflection on the roster.
Yeah.
than him.
Actually, to even Howie, it's more of a
Which is
reflection on him.
why a guy like Harry Roseman has the balls to do the things he does. Because by his estimation,
That's
I
his
made
record.
you. I made you.
Yeah.
By his estimation. He'll never say that, but I know he believes that. That's why he fired Doug. He believes he made him. Lo and behold, Doug is coaching his ass off in Jacksonville. So, look.
Hey, right here. Remember something, Nick. Nick Sirianni, just kiss the ring. I'm the Pope. You're the dude, the Cardinal. I'll send the smoke out whether or not I think you should get your job or not. We'll go from there. That's how we're going to do this from now on.
If the groundhog sees his shadow, you keep your job.
I'll tell you one thing's for sure there that's being evident that I think when I'm hearing some of these coaches that are interviewing, these position coaches, Tone, that guy has no authority. Oh, by the way, the comparing of Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh to Nick Sirianni, when you hear people saying that, what do those guys do?
I don't really
Those
roll
guys
with that.
have complete autonomy of their team and who they hire as coaches.
Yeah, I don't fully subscribe to the idea that Nick Sirianni is in that vein at all. I don't subscribe to that. Me personally, those guys have built up so much equity. They're in the league of their own. I honestly don't feel comfortable comparing him to those guys. As of right now, Nick Sirianni is closer to Jason Garrett than he is anybody else. Like he's more closer to that. Let's be honest about
it. He's more closer to Jason Garrett. Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't that's who he is. If you look at his record, I mean, Jason Garrett won a lot of games in 9 years. I think it was 9 years in Dallas. I think he won 80 some games there, man. I mean, he's got a really, I think he's like 83-27.
Listen to this. Jason Garrett's record with the Cowboys as the head coach from 2010 to 2019 is 85-67.
Yep. There you go.
He has a 0.559 win percentage, but he's a great coach. Okay.
Wait. To go into that now.
Because listen, here's the thing, right? The longer niggas they had coach.
559?
Yeah.
Okay, that means that Rich Kotai's a better coach. And that Chip Kelly's just as good a coach. And he's a better coach than Doug Peterson.
Here's the thing. The longer Nick coaches, the more that number is going to level out. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Watch it drop to the 500s.
Yeah, because he's going 5 games next year.
I hope not.
Are you prepared for that?
That's a good question. Am I prepared for this Philadelphia Eagles team?
Like, what are you prepared?
That's a good question.
Let's move forward.
I like where you're going with this.
For next year?
I think I'm prepared. I'm prepared to make the playoffs. But I can't say anything.
The reason you make the playoffs is because
I can't say anything more or less than that.
Of the quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback, the offensive line, the skill position.
What if Kelsey leaves?
That changes everything. That changes everything. Let's be frank about it. But overall, like you said, I'm preparing for a playoff berth. I can't say anything more or less than that.
So you're preparing for what happened to this year, because this year you were preparing for a Super Bowl appearance. Now you've lowered your standards to, let's hope we make the playoffs, which means you won't.
Well, my standard.
You got to set your standards a little higher, homie.
Well, listen, my standard is always Super Bowl. That's my standard. It's my personal standard.
Okay.
But what do I really, if I'm being realistic? See, my standard doesn't always coincide with realism. So
there's two sides of your brain here, right?
Yeah,
you're fighting every day.
Hey, listen,
I hear you.
We're complex humans, right? We're battling each and every day to fight the inner whatever, the inner workings. I think this team is a playoff team. I can't say anything more than that. Do I prefer? Am I a Super Bowl or bust guy? Yeah, I am. I'm a bottom line guy. But as of right now, they got so much to do on that defensive side. How can I say definitively that, this team can compete for a Super Bowl. Like what? What world am I living in if I believe that? If I say that?
Are you going to be better than San Francisco next year?
No.
Are you going to be better than the Lions?
I can't guarantee that, so I'm going to say no.
How about the Packers?
Yes. Yes. I think we'll be better than the Packers.
Okay. How about the Rams?
Yes.
So you think you'll be the third best team in the NFC this coming season?
I believe the top 4 teams in the conference are going to be
after getting boat raced by the Bucks.
Yeah. You know, ass whoopings happen. They happen. But I do
better
believe
than the Cowboys.
Are we better than the Cowboys today? No, I don't think so.
So you're fourth.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so that puts you still in the 5 hole as a wild card.
Yeah, basically, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
you're kind of on an 11 win. In your opinion, you're like either you're between 9 and 11 wins this coming season.
If I'm trying to remember who they played. They play because the schedule came out, but not the.
I saw it.
I'm trying to remember who they play.
I think the Jags are on that thing.
Let's see if I can get it up for us here. Because
I think the Jags are on that. I think the Packers are on that thing too.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, read me this. I'm gonna take a little just to have a shits and giggles here.
Okay, here we go. Let's do it.
Okay.
So
oh, good. Here we go.
All right, so we have obviously Washington twice.
Okay, so you think you split or do you take both?
Oh
shit, they don't even have a coach, so I'm giving you both.
Yeah, they don't have a coach, and I don't know if they're sold on Sam Howell either. So
okay,
I'm taking both of those games.
How about Joe Burrow
at Cincinnati? I don't like
that as an L.
I don't like the Eagles in that situation. So I got that as an L. At Baltimore, I got that as an L.
Let's just do the Cowboys a split.
Cowboys a split. Okay, Cowboys split. So I got at Bengals, at Baltimore. Well, at Cincinnati, at Baltimore.
So right now we're 3-3.
Right now we're 3-3. And again, obviously, you guys, we don't know when this is going to happen. But
right. Saints, I think you win that.
I think we beat the Saints. So that's what? That's 4-3. That's 4-3.
Yeah.
Correct.
Giants, they're still a shit.
Right. So that's 5-3.
We split the Cowboys already. We got onto the Giants down here.
Okay, hold on.
Do you think you take both of those Giant games?
Yeah, I think so.
I do too. That's
I think
6 now.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got us losing to Bengals.
You're 6-3 right now.
Yes, 6-3, exactly. 6-3.
Okay, Atlanta Falcons, you win that.
So that's 7-3. Carolina beat them. That's 8-3. Cleveland in Philadelphia.
And still, until I see what Deshaun Watson looks like, I'm going to give you that.
So that's 9-3. Steelers 10-3. I got us beating them. At Tampa Bay, I don't know. Tampa Bay is like Jalen Hurts' kryptonite.
Same team coming back. I'm going to put that as an L.
Yeah, why not?
Rams.
I got that as a win. So what is that? 11-4.
You think you beat the Packers?
You know what? That's a push. But we're at home, so I say us. We're at home. I say us.
Jacksonville at home.
Jacksonville at home. I think we win that game.
So you got 13 wins here, guy.
Oh, I guess I do.
Because I got 13-4. You're expecting Nick Sirianni to coach the team back to prominence.
You know what's so funny?
Basically home field advantage in the NFC playoffs and the NFC East. That's what you're predicting.
Wow, I guess you're right. You know, because when you go through the schedule like that, you don't realize how good or bad you think a team is until you go through it. And then you realize,
wait a minute. Well, here's something you got to remember now.
I don't think they're winning 13 games next year.
Well, okay, wait a minute. Now we're back to where we were at 10-1. Here we go now, Tone. You look at that and assume you're going to beat the Packers when you couldn't beat the Giants.
No, you know what? I don't assume that. I think I really am like kind of Green Bay's a good team, clearly. But
You're
like,
assuming you're going to beat the Rams when you couldn't beat Seattle.
Well, I know we beat the Rams before. So
you beat the Bucks before.
That's true.
And they boat raced you.
Right, but remember, I got us losing to the Bucks next year as well. So, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be trying to be balanced here.
Sure,
trying to be
I
balanced.
got you on the record here as 13-4.
Well, don't lock me in on that. You know? I don't even know when they're playing these people.
And remember, you got Nick Sirianni as your coach.
I don't even know when they're playing these people. So,
it matters. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, listen, how it lays out matters. You know what I'm saying? It matters a little bit.
It does. It does. The roadmap matters.
But just that face value.
13-4, baby. Home field advantage in the NFC title game. NFC East champions. Nick gets a contract extension because that's going to be the second to last year on his deal. And you are going back with another year with another contract extension with Nick Sirianni.
I don't like the way you framed all that. So, yeah, I don't think they're winning 13 games.
I took your own picks. You said they're 13-4.
I mean, yeah, I didn't mean to. Like, but no, it's funny though, because I'm looking at it now and I'm like, okay, this schedule, because they had the NFC South this year and they had the AFC North. Those are the two main divisions they're going to be facing. The AFC North matchups are going to be hard. Even that Pittsburgh game is not going to just be a gimme.
Put that schedule up one more time. I'm going to show you. Then let's do it this way. Okay. So at face value, and I don't think you're wrong here. Start at the beginning here.
Okay. Here we are. This is the beginning.
How do you think that defense is going to do versus a guy who threw for 750 yards versus you and Sam Howell, Washington? In both those games, he threw for a career high. Did he throw for 400 yards in one of them?
Yeah, something like that. 398, 97.
398,
like
okay.
400. I'll say that.
Okay, I say you still win both those games. How do you think your Joe Burrow's going to do against your
I personally believe Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson is going to torch the Eagles defense next year. Personally.
How do you think Dak's going to do?
I mean, we said split, so I think
fair enough.
Yeah. I think Dak is going to do Dak things. You know, he plays
the
well.
Giants with Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor beat you in that defense,
right?
But you're going to make a reclamation project in the offseason, and that's going to rectify that and eradicate that, right? I heard you and Rob saying you think the defense will be turned around this year.
No, so this is what I said. I said no because I knew you were going to do that. So. What I said was, I said because they were so bad this year, they can't go anywhere else. They were the worst defense, in my opinion. They were the worst defense in the NFL. They can't go anywhere else, Dan. They can't get any lower than where they were. So it has to improve. And then on top of that, I said at bare minimum, what works for me, if you give me a top 7 run defense and a top 12 pass defense, I can work with everything else because, in my opinion, that's playoff level. That's a playoff level defense. If you can become a playoff level defense, if you can just be ranked in the top half of the league in everything, I can work with that because that tells me you're trending upward. But again, they were so bad, they turning it around is the only way to go. What happens when you run into a dead end, Dan? You got to make a U-turn.
Okay.
So
hey, no.
They've hit rock bottom. They've hit rock bottom. They can
only
go.
You're saying, listen, there's no way else but up.
Yes, exactly.
So Vic Fangio's the savior.
Savior is such a loaded word. Savior is such. I love what you do. You're a talented guy. You're a talented dude. I see why JAKIB pays you the big bucks. You're a talented guy.
Oh man! Get that schedule out of there. I got another one.
Hey, live chat. Y'all heard what he said? He said, "Is he the savior?" That was good. That was good.
No, I mean, I heard, conversations on one of my favorite shows, Sports Take, that the defense is going to be turned around and that there must be some savior coming in. It must be Bud Carson or, Monty Kiffin or Jim Johnson that's going to be coming into the Eagle defense and it's going to like change the fortunes around and like find players. I just can't wait to see it.
Hey, who are you telling? I can't wait to see it.
Dude, would you not agree the Eagles are more entertaining now than they were during the year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Last week, when everything was kind of coming to a head, I was saying, look, as uncomfortable as all this may be for an Eagles fan, in all reality, all this shit is entertaining. It's all entertaining. It's great to talk about. It's great. It's great content to really think about and just work through and have real conversations when you're not being emotional. You know what I mean? It's really, the Eagles are truly one of the most fascinating case studies in the NFL. If you really take the time to really just watch how they do business.
And what's great about them is that people say that I gaslight. The Eagle fan base gaslights everything.
Howie Roseman gaslights us. Like
the whole thing is
come on, man.
Marvelous.
Like, really, Zach Cunningham had a great year, and Nakobe Dean, he's
a great player.
Like, that's gaslighting at its finest.
You got a bunch of great players on defense and a bunch of young core guys, and you're like, no, you don't.
That's gaslighting at its finest.
They said they gaslighted. They threw fire on everything they did wrong.
What do you think was the worst thing that they could have said or that they did say? What do you think was the one thing that said, okay, like this team is – what was the one thing? Okay, that was the one thing that rubbed you the wrong way the most?
That's the one thing that, in my opinion, bringing Nick back because he had confidence in him was the worst thing they said because that's the least thing they had in him or they wouldn't be going through all these changes.
Bingo. But they don't realize.
Because the whole interview and the whole press conference stems off of that. All the other stuff stems off of the fact that they're lying to you about the confidence they have in him because they don't have confidence in him or they wouldn't be bringing all these experienced coaches now in. How come they didn't do that after they lost the Super Bowl by 3 points? See, exactly. To me, this is being done backwards. You should have did all of you know what? You know what's crazy, Tone, is that now they're in a sense of urgency. The front office is in a sense of urgency. They should have been in a sense of urgency when they left Arizona. Not in the sense of being comfort.
I agree. And here's the thing, right? Last year, after they lost that Super Bowl, right? They went inexperienced at OC and DC. And now all of a sudden they're going experience. That tells me Nick had a larger hand in setting up that office, setting up that staff coming off the Super Bowl year rather than now. Because clearly they're taking something away from him going into the 2024 season. Whatever they're taking away from him, he had coming into the 2023 season. So he had to have had a stronger hand in picking Sean Desai or maybe Brian Johnson was kind of like Brian Johnson was okay, I'll let you pick your DC, but you got to have Brian Johnson. Maybe they negotiated something in that regard. I think now there's no room for negotiation. Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, they're picking your staff, and you just got to roll with it. I think they feel like they gave him. I believe in their mind, they believe they gave him power going into the 2023 season, and he did not produce with that power, so they're taking it away from him. I think that's how that happens.
Banker now has more power again.
Yep.
And the doorman, and the guy who like goes around and he's kind of like, you ever gone to a strip club? There's a thing called the house mom. He's kind of like the house mom. He's going to take care of the offense, the defense, the special teams. He's going to be kind of one of them kind of guys.
Agreed.
I just, hey, all right, let me go here with you before we get Jason Cole at the bottom of the hour. I want to get to a couple of these things here with you. I want to revisit something. I asked you, I think yesterday, and I'm going to ask you again. Would you entertain trading A.J. Brown?
No. Not right. Not yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. He's entirely too potent.
To help build your defense like Kansas City did.
You see, Kansas City had leeway to do that.
Get 2 1s for him?
Can you get 2 1s for him? You can get 2 1s for A.J. Brown today.
Okay.
Today.
So
whatever that
go into this draft with 4 1s.
Okay, Tyreek Hill.
3 1s.
What did Kansas City give for Tyreek Hill?
They got 2 1s.
You mean to tell me AJ Brown can't command 2 1s right now?
Okay.
Not you, but like
no. Oh, I do. I do. And I
like,
think they would be significant because what you do is go to shitty teams, like maybe even Jacksonville, or you go to a team like the Jets. You do something like that has high quality picks. You could be in that top 10 again.
I'm just not there yet.
You go into the draft with 3 1s to build your defense.
I feel
and
you.
Cornerbacks, linebackers, edge rushing depth. Don't you think you should be thinking about building the unit instead of building one side of the ball?
I hear you. I totally hear what you're saying.
And if you believe in Jalen Hurts that much, which you did because your actions on giving him 50, you have to have confidence that guy can play without him.
AJ Brown is just so good, Dan.
Tyreek Hill is so good.
But here's the thing. They managed to get something. All right, I'll put it to you this way. I believe they were so comfortable moving on from Tyreek Hill because they already won with him. They got the Super Bowl. They won with him. So at that point,
they had more confidence in Mahomes than the Eagles have in Jalen. Because to me,
I think that went into. I think that goes into it too.
That would be anywhere. That's not just being. Hey, would you have more faith in Josh Allen, or would you have more faith in Mahomes? Okay, we just saw what happened here, Mahomes. Right. So I don't think that's just like a dog on Hurts. But what I do think is Howie needs as many quality picks as possible to land on one. You got to land on finally a corner, a linebacker. You've got to land on something here that's going to be a factor on that side of the ball.
So I totally
3-1.
feel where you're going. I totally feel you, but
I get 2 first rounders and a third.
I feel you.
AJ, you're not doing that.
You put me in a bind here.
What's more important, you rebuilding the defense or getting AJ his receptions and his targets? Because what happened this year? He had a career year again. You lost 6 or 7. Where are you going with that?
And then when you see Devontae do what he did in that playoff game, you're saying to yourself, okay, do I really have to?
Remember, if I'm going to make a move like that, I want a King's
Let me ask you this. To your point, right? Do you trust Howie Roseman to do the right thing with those picks?
Okay, well, then that goes back to the owner saying that, okay, in theory, it's a good, hey, 2 1s and a 3 for AJ. That's a great deal. Who's making the picks? Howie. Okay, then I'm not sure it is.
That's where I'm at with it.
I got a lot of work to do over there, and here's something else you have to put in that we're not doing. You have $20 million in cap space. Most of that money is going to be allocated towards your draft.
Mm-hmm. And then, and also, I think with AJ, he still got some guaranteed money left. So it's you drive a hard bargain because I in theory, your mindset is not off at all, right? One sacrifice for the betterment of a whole unit. In theory, you're not wrong.
I'm looking at building the roster.
I know, and again, your mindset is spot on because that's what the Eagles need. The Eagles need a better roster, period.
This comes down to faith and Hurts.
And you know what? When you put it that way, me going this hard for AJ would imply my faith in Hurts isn't as high as I think. And that's not something I'm ready to admit. So
here's what you have with places like Dallas, Miami, and to some extent Philly. Their offenses go through CeeDee, Tyreek, and AJ. Well, I don't think you're going very far with that. Your offense has to go through your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It can't go through one guy.
I'll put it to you this way. I need to see Jalen Hurts get back on track first. Jalen Hurts gets back on track. AJ gives you another one of those 1,300, 1,400 yard years. I'm willing to move him then.
So next year. Because I still think you get two for him.
Next offseason, talk to me. Next offseason, I think I'll entertain it. I think I would. Because
do you not agree trading away?
Because if the Chiefs can trade Tyreek Hill, why can't
you think that was a smart move for them?
Absolutely. Look where they are.
They've won a Super Bowl going for another one.
Now, granted, has it been a bumpy ride?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this would be a bumpy ride too.
But it's the NFL.
But if you still got to the conference title game, does it matter?
No, it doesn't. Because let's be honest, everybody sold their Kansas City stock. And all of a sudden,
hey, get this. Guess what they did? They sold hosting home field advantage this year for getting a Super Bowl, losing Tyreek Hill, having to go through a tougher route, but yet opening and keeping the window open for Mahomes' Super Bowl window for another 3 years, 4 years, because they improved the defense so much. They were more, Brett Veach was more, the general manager, was more about building that roster around.
His foresight was tremendous.
He wanted to build that roster around Mahomes, not one side of the ball. I think the Eagles have built one side of the ball around Jalen. Well, dude, at the end of the day, you have all those Pro Bowlers that I bring up, and you still lost 6 or 7.
Right.
What did you get out of it?
I get it.
You got Jeffrey Lurie, what he wanted? Explosion plays, high turnovers, high drama, and bounced in the opening round. Actually, think about it, Tone. Was the 2021 season more productive than the 2023 season as a team? And you only won 9 games that year. It's funny. I look back on that 21 season. I think that season was a better year. You had a better stretch run. You ended the season on a high note. You didn't really play well against, it was Brady. They won a Super Bowl that year. I mean, you're not talking about losing to Bob Brady.
Right.
You're talking about losing to a team that won the Super Bowl eventually.
Yeah. Actually, they won the Super Bowl the year prior. That year, the Rams won.
Oh, that's right. They lost to the Rams.
They lost to the Rams.
Game or divisional game?
Divisional game.
Divisional game.
They lost some in the divisional game. But still, regardless, Brady was still hot. Like the Buccaneers team was still hot. They were good. You know what I'm saying? Good. So, yeah. Look, I totally understand what you're saying, and I think in theory, you make a lot of sense, and you make the most sense in the world, because right now they're offense heavy, and their defense is very, very weak, and they need a lot of equity. They need a lot of pieces on that defense.
You've heard me say this to you, Tone, that one of the things that made the Patriots so good was that they made the tough cuts or the tough trades. Yeah. When they had guys with a lot of juice in the tank, and they moved the Richard Seymours, or they moved the Darrelle Revises, or they moved the Randy Mosses, or they moved all of those pieces of really good players. And you know what they got back in return? Draft choices, equity, and it kept the Brady. Think about what they had. Wasn't there really like 2 Super Bowl runs in Brady's era up there for 19 years? They won a ton of Super Bowls early. Then there was like a 10-year gap in the middle there. Then there was another year where they had built the roster back up around him again, because they opened up and kept his window open by retooling around him, by making the tough moves.
Exactly.
That's what this is about. Okay. You see, that's why the Eagles can't do this. And that Jeff Kerr comic comes back to roost. And it's this: the sustained success is never going to be there if you're building one side of the ball up.
Yeah. In order to sustain success, you got to make tough decisions, period.
And you've got to make moves that balance your roster, not one side of the ball. Look at all of your stars and all of your money's on one side.
Think about this: Green Bay traded Devontae Adams, and look where they are.
Completely another great one I hadn't thought of. Adams is now dying in Vegas, and they're Jordan Love with young players and the retooling of the defense. They're now striving and moving forward without, get this, they moved off of Aaron Rodgers because they got draft choices back from the Jets, and they moved off of Devontae Smith. 2 All-Pros, 4-time MVP, a Super Bowl champion, and they're better. Look at Seattle. They moved off of Russell Wilson. I thought they were going to be in purgatory for 10 years. They've been in the playoffs, and they've been a winning team every year since Russell Wilson has been gone. And Russell Wilson has had losing seasons every year since he's been gone.
Yeah. I think here's the thing, right? That decision is made easier because you got a guy like Devontae Smith right there, just waiting. Clearly, he wants the opportunity to
You
be.
think he's a 1?
Do I think Devontae's a 1? He proved he was a 1 in that playoff game.
Okay.
Flat out. In my opinion, I always thought he was a 1. I just felt like, Jalen Hurts, like at the time. So in his rookie year, I personally felt like he was a 1, but I knew Jalen Hurts still had a lot of improvement to do at that time, and they also didn't throw the ball nowhere near as much as they do now.
Can I tell you what I think they need for him? If they make him the 1 and they move AJ and they get the commodity and the assets, I would want them to go into the draft, but maybe not into free agent because Howie's not very good at drafting wide receivers. Devontae's probably his best draft pick. I would want a veteran guy that's out there. Can you imagine what would you think of this? T. Higgins and Devontae Smith as your wide receivers and Dallas Goedert. And you'd be able to spread the ball around with those two guys.
No, I would like that. The thing is, T. Higgins is he's in a contract year, I think, and I think he's looking to get $20+ million. So you'll kind of be back at square one with.
He ain't getting $20 million being a 2.
Let me see.
There's no chance. Jamar Chase is the 1 on that team.
No, I know that. Trust me, believe I know that.
Yeah. Well, he could bark all that he wants. He ain't getting that. He's going to get around $14 million, but he ain't getting 25.
So as of right now, let's look at his market value right now. So, well, first of all, his stats in 2023.
No, it's a little bit skewed because of the shitty quarterback play they had in there.
No, and also he got hurt. He only played 12 games.
Okay.
So
great.
So actually, his numbers this past year, it gives you leverage. He through 12 games played, he gave you 656 yards.
Great.
5 touchdowns.
Here's 14.
And 42 catches.
Here's 14.
As of right now, his average annual salary market value is $18.6 million per year. He's not getting that.
He ain't getting that.
He's likely to get 15.
Something like that.
Or 16.
Something like that. Between 12 and 15, sure.
You
and
might be honest.
Get this. That's $10 million cheaper than you're paying.
And you get younger. And he's a little younger.
And you're younger. And you're developing the guy you drafted.
You're the more we talk about this and we really iron it out.
And what you're doing is you're retooling your defense on the fly at the same time. And what you're doing is creating balance in your offensive approach and in your offensive signal calling. So
basically what you're saying is take the step back to take 3 forward.
That's what the Chiefs did.
I think because this defense is so far in the weeds,
correct.
They're going to
cap money.
They're going to have to make a tough decision over the next 2 years. And it's going to be one that the fan base isn't going to like at first. But they're going to have to sell them on it. And it might have something to do with either AJ Brown or Hassan Reddick. Because I believe, Hassan Reddick is entering a contract year. If they don't re-up him, I think they trade him.
I actually think they're going to let him play through the contract and not offer him. And just let him walk.
You think
he'll be 30 then?
You think he'll hold out?
Hold out? His contract will be up. He'll be a free agent because here's what I would get out of that.
Well, I mean hold out going into this final year.
Oh, this year holding out? Well, that would be counterproductive to him because if he's going into his final year, he would want to showcase his talents for the other 31 teams.
Okay.
So him holding out would send a message that he thinks this is the last contract that he's going to get. Me, I'd be thinking this. Let me go out here and get another 18 sacks because if I get another 18 sacks, the Eagles are going to come ponying up for more money. It's going to cost them more in the end. And I'm going to be a $20 million guy in the open market when it comes to pass rushing. Or if this happens, the guy comes in and has a 6-7 sack year, the Eagles can come in and parachute in and offer him less money because he's older, less production, but yet you still want him. So to me, that's how I would gamble with that. And at the end of the day, his roster spot will mean a lot for me. And then that puts Howie on the line for Nolan Smith. Is Nolan Smith the guy or not? Or did you mess that up too? So that's how they're thinking all of this. Okay,
I'm pretty sure they've already considered, what their options are surrounding AJ Brown. I'm pretty sure they've already considered that.
Hassan's not gonna. He's not gonna sit out. You know what he'll do? He'll bitch and bellyache during OTAs and minicamp.
Right. He might not show up for a couple of those, but
Bills won't really care about that anyway. But they might because of the new DC.
Right.
Okay, and that could create some bad will. However, if he's smart and his agent's telling him, hey, 31 other teams, you go out there and get another double-digit sack. It'll be your 5th year in a row. Somebody's going to come calling and knock on you, and there's going to be a paycheck in your mailbox that's going to have a $20 million number on it.
Now, what if he says, well, look, I gave you 4 years in a row, double-digit sacks, 3 different organizations. You think one more year is going to prove anything else? What if he says that?
You played on a 26th ranked team in the National Football League. Your impact this last year was marginal at best. Okay. That's when you have those
that's a good counter.
arbitration conversations where you start telling the player, what was your impact again? I must have missed that in the last 8 games.
That's a very solid counter.
Your guy didn't put me in a position to succeed. Okay, fair enough. So you want me to pay because we didn't have proper coaches that you couldn't play in and you couldn't perform with, and you think that's our fault? Well, then you may not be the guy that we want to invest $20 million in.
Exactly, because when you get in that upper echelon of contract,
$50 to right the ship too with shitty coaching.
Exactly. When you get to a certain level of income, they're paying you outside of the scheme. They want you to produce for scheme. When you're getting paid a certain amount of money, you're supposed to be scheme independent, not scheme dependent.
That's right. See, you complain more when you make less. When you make more, when you make more, you complain less. When you make little, you complain more. Okay? That's why all them big money guys, you don't hear them bitching a lot because they're making their market. You ever hear Aaron Rodgers bitching about or Aaron Donald bitching about anything?
Nope.
He ain't bitching about nothing. He's making $30 million.
That's a good point. But overall, though, I do like this think tank about AJ Brown's future in Philadelphia, and this has nothing to do with who he is.
He's a great player.
Yeah, this is strictly about getting the Philadelphia Eagles as a team back on track. This has nothing to do with AJ Brown on or off the field. This is strictly
the reason I'm talking about him is because he's a great player.
Exactly.
I'm not trading Zach Cunningham.
Right. You can't get anything for that. So
I'm not getting nothing for that. I'm not getting nothing from Nakobe Dean. You know what? I asked somebody a question about Nakobe Dean. I asked Dan Morgan this. If you put Nakobe Dean on the market right now, you couldn't get a 6th rounder for him.
AJ Brown is the most valuable asset the Philadelphia Eagles have.
Outside the quarterback.
Obviously outside the quarterback. But I mean, as far as just impact, production.
That's a great combo.
He may be their most
players on your team right
now. He's their most valuable asset.
AJ Brown's is number 1 and
the most tradable asset.
That Devontae's 2 because of his youth.
Right, in that rookie contract. But here's the thing about the Eagles. When they draft you, they love you forever. So the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Devontae Smith and knowing what he did in that final playoff game, I think that forced the Philadelphia Eagles to think, okay, we got to find how much do we really want to keep AJ on this roster. We know we need a lot more draft picks. We need some high quality draft picks at that. It's something they have to consider. I'm not quite there yet though,
so you're probably a year away from it.
I think I'm a year away from that kind of decision. Me personally. I'm about a year away from that decision. I need Hurts to get back on track.
See, but here, watch this. Next year, you're older. I don't know. I can get 2, probably. Right now, I know I can get 2 and a 3.
If he gives you another, if AJ gives you another year like this one,
you're gambling. But watch this, Stone. I know for a certain I can get 2 2s and a 3. Right now. I agree.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because right now, okay, AJ Brown is 26 right now. This time next year, he'll be 27.
Okay. You're starting to get there.
And he is currently in which year of the contract? He is in this year.
4 years.
Yes. So he's in. So 2024 is the 2nd year of that 4-year extension he signed. 2024. He played the first year last year in 2023. So, actually, it's going to be it's actually going to be fiscally better for them to make a move after the 2024 season, because the dead cap gets a little bit lower. It's still high, but it gets a little bit lower, and the contract is more tradable. It's easier to trade. So
this convo is probably a year away.
I think this convo is about a year away, because in total guarantees on the contract is $57.2 million. So after 2024, the guarantee money is pretty much gone. So he's going to be looking to re-up at some point in 2025. I think that's when they make that decision. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ gets traded after the 2024 season, going into the 2025, because of the guarantee money basically being almost gone, and the fact that they're going to need as many assets as possible to get that defense back on track. It'll be the perfect window to do so. And his value is going to be probably the highest it's going to be. He's literally in his prime.
Good convo, Tone. Good convo.
As always, sir.
Here in a minute. That was good stuff, man. I appreciate it, my friend. All right, Jason Cole's going to join us. We're going to talk about the conference championship games, MVPs, players of the year. We'll do that with him. He's got votes in all of it. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Football and Hooters, the perfect